What's going on, guys? It's Jake Camaro here with another video for you, and as I mentioned last night in my Flashback Friday video, I was going to be doing a short little commentary about the top 5 reasons I thought that Medal of Honor failed. I actually recorded this a couple days ago, but I was a little disappointed by its outcome, and I kind of went back to my top 5 and changed up a little bit, and I think this one is definitely a lot better. So I'm pretty much just going to get right into it. I'll mention about the gameplay that you're seeing. I'm actually going to be playing on one of the maps from the Zero Dark 30 map pack. I think it's Dara Gun Market. And I chose not to do an initial thoughts about this on this map pack because I actually went into play on just Dara Gun Market and the Zero Dark 30 maps in general. There's only two, but the Zero Dark 30 maps, and there was like 3 servers that had people on them, and only one was fully, well, almost fully, like 19 out of 20 people full. So that was kind of like, well, if there's going to be that little amount of people playing, I would not recommend getting this DLC. It's a good DLC, and if you got the limited edition and you can get it for free, good for you. But to pay 800 Microsoft points for it, really, like, no one is playing this game anymore. It's pretty much dead. EA has cut all support for it. The last patch you saw is definitely going to be the last. There's going to be no more DLC. So I think that the map pack is good, but I think it's just a little too, it's too little too late for this game. So let's just jump into the top 5 now. These are reasons that I think it failed. I actually really liked this game, but I think these are the reasons why I think a lot of other people may have just tried to play it and not been that enthusiastic about it. You can definitely see that the first few days that somebody has a game is the most important time because that if they don't get into it, they're probably going to want to sell it or return it if some markets, I don't know what like video game distributors' policy is on returns, because I've never returned a video game. But anyway, these are, I think, the reasons why people might not have been too impressed with the game. And most of these, actually, all of these are from the multiplayer side, although the campaign can be kind of related to it a little bit. These are in no particular order, and these are my opinion, so if you don't agree with them, it's pretty much just my thoughts on this game. So the first one is number 1, the menus. Now, the menus for this game, I have to say, were atrocious. They were extremely confusing, very slow, and it just took too many sub-menus to get to where you wanted to go. The first time I played this game, which was actually in the beta since I am on Xbox 360, I was just really confused about where to go. I did eventually figure it out, of course, but I just think it could have been done a lot better. The menu for Battlefield 3 isn't great, but it definitely just gets the job done and gets you into a game as fast as possible, and I just think that the menus for Medal of Honor Warfighter were not very good. Sometimes there were some bugs, like you would modify a weapon and it wouldn't save and you would have to go back and do it again, and it was just very slow to load, especially on consoles, and it just wasn't very good at all. It was addressed in the latest patch that came out with the Zero Dark 30 map pack, but like the map pack itself, I just think it was a little too late. Number 2, the press release. So if you aren't familiar with video game reviewers, sites like IGN or GameSpot, they pretty much receive most of their games a little earlier before they're released to the general public. And then they're able to write up a review and hopefully get that review out either the day of release or a couple days even before the release if the developer chooses to, the publisher chooses to lift the embargo. But in the case of this game, they actually did not receive it until the day it was released to the general public, and I think that definitely was not good for this game at all, because that pretty much means that they didn't want it to be scored before everybody who pre-ordered it or decided to get it on day 1 could already buy it. So pretty much this game did not get very good reviews from any review site, and I think that EA kind of knew that, and that definitely raised a couple red flags in my mind, because I kind of know that, like Halo 4, for example, IGN got like quite a few weeks before its release, and they gave it a 9.5, and I really liked it, and a lot of people bought it. But with Medal of Honor Warfighter, them only getting it the day it's released and they're not being able to have their review up for another week or so, I definitely thought that that was one of the reasons that a lot of people just chose not to pick it up. For number 3, a buggy beta. Now, there was a beta version of this game released for the Xbox 360 only just a couple weeks before release in October, and I think it closed on the 15th, so that was only just a week before the game came out. But I think that the beta, while in itself I think was a good idea, it was free to anyone, and there's no like early access with like it was with the Battlefield 3 beta. I think that it was extremely buggy and very unpolished, and I think a lot of people might have played it and then just figured that the release game would be just like it, and then not choose to spend $60. The beta could have probably been a little bit better. This was addressed in a huge patch released on day one that fixed a couple of the issues, but I'll get into that in a few minutes. But just the beta itself was quite unpolished, and I think for an average consumer who might think that the beta is a finished product, they might not choose to buy the game. Of course, since I kind of know like betas are older versions of the game, so like the release that you get in a beta is quite a bit old, especially if it's like an Xbox 360 beta, because they have to go through the whole approval process with Microsoft. So it'll be it is a little while before like they finish that version of the game, and then they actually ship it to the public via Xbox Live or PlayStation Network or wherever they have like downloads on your specific system. But I think that the beta definitely was a little bit of a turnoff for a lot of people. That was kind of how it was for Battlefield 3, actually. The beta was so buggy, I remember hearing that I think like a million people decided to cancel their pre-order for Battlefield 3 now. I don't know if this is certain or not, like true, but I definitely do think that it's definitely, it could be, because I remember going onto the forums on Amazon.com right after the beta came out, and there's just tons of people just complaining about how buggy the beta was and them canceling their pre-order, so I think that definitely hurt sales. Betas, I think, are sometimes a good idea to, you know, get user input and stuff. Like the Halo Reach beta was extremely good, very polished, and a lot of people liked it, and I think it definitely increased sales. But in the case of quite a few games, I think it actually might hurt sales, which is why Call of Duty never has a beta, because they know the people are going to buy it anyway, so they don't really need to have like a free version released before the full release. For number 4, it was actually still buggy after release. So even after a beta and even after a huge patch released on day 1, the game was still extremely buggy and broken for a lot of people at release, launch. And although I was able to get through it and just focus on the game's positives, I think a lot of people might have not liked that, thought that just the developers or publishers just chose not to do a good job on the game. I know that's not true. I respect Danger Close, and their past few games have been really good. I really enjoyed Medal of Honor 2010, which I talked about last night. But I think that this game was quite a bit rushed to the to release, and I think that if they would have given it just a couple more months or even just a few more weeks, it just would have been a lot more stable release, and it would have gotten a little bit better reviews, and more people would have bought it, and word would have got out a little bit more. For me, I think me, Ryan, and this other kid online are the only people I know who have this game, so it's very unpopular on my friends list, and I really have to play this game alone because no one really wants to play it anymore, which I don't know. I think this game is good if you can get past its negatives. I think you can still find a pretty good game in there, but it's not my my choice whether my friends want to play with me or not, but yeah, which kind of gets into the point where there's not a lot of people playing this game anymore. The servers are very vacant. You can still find a game, but I am very unimpressed with the amount of people still playing it now. And finally, number 5, very, very confusing unlocks. The whole unlock system was just a huge mess. So pretty much when you went and you chose like a faction, and then you got like the different people based on that faction you chose. So I chose the United States like assaulter or something like that, the Navy SEAL, and then you could get the different people like the sniper and point man for different teams, which then makes it so that you have like different factions for each person. So there's different like versions of each point man and sniper. So there's like United States, Britain, but then you unlock them in a really confusing order. And the weapon unlocks, you have a set of attachments already on your weapon based on what country you choose, and then you actually have to un unlock things to delete them. So I had a suppressor on my gun, and I had to unlock a way to get rid of the suppressor. And you can figure it out, definitely, but for the first couple of days or so, I had no idea what order I was unlocking anything, and no clue what was going on or how I could unlock certain weapons and stuff. But that's pretty much the end of the video. That's pretty much my opinion. Medal of Honor Warfighter, you can still buy it for really cheap, so you might want to check it out. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.